I've said it before and I'll say it again. What are you doing to become a match for what it is that you desire? Hola, hola, hola a todos. Es tu prima favorita, Bobby here. Welcome back to the Cousins Corner. Thank you for joining me today. Please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And we're gonna get right into this video. Amid all the conversations that are going on around what it is that women want, what it is that men want, what women don't want or don't like, what it is that men want or don't like, my mind took a turn back into a question that I often find myself thinking about, and it is, what are these people who are requesting all of these other things from other people doing to make sure that they are matching up to be somebody that that person would even want? I remember having a conversation with someone and stating that when I'm in a committed relationship, I want to be my person's person. And I remember her telling me, oh, that makes so much sense. I've never thought about it that way. And I was a little bit, I'm gonna be honest, I was a little bit taken aback when she said that, because I was like, you've been in a relationship for like a long time, a periodically long time. And she was also a married woman. And I was just like, what do you mean you've never thought about it like that? You're literally in a whole marriage. Estás casada. Like, I just didn't really, I couldn't comprehend that she was telling me that she never thought about being the person that her person wants to find. But I couldn't be too surprised, because a lot of people simply just don't think that way. Many people will and do solely think about what it is that they want, and they'll enter relationships and stay in relationships based on those things alone. They'll enter a relationship based off solely what it is that they want from another person, not thinking about the things that they necessarily bring to that other person that that person also desires. I know I'm saying person a lot, and I'm going to say person a lot in this video, but it's because I'm trying to get a point across. A lot of times people seldomly think about what it is that they truly have to offer another person in a relationship outside of just who they are, right? And I guess what they bring to the table, either monetarily or physically, right? I feel that we live in a world that's very, very self-serving, and it teaches us to be self-serving first. And in some cases, that's totally fine. In a lot of cases, you should be self-serving, because if you don't look out for you, who's gonna look out for you? But when it comes to a relationship, it's not about just you, it's about you and that other person. And I feel like a lot of people go into these types of bonds or into romantic relationships thinking, I should have whatever it is, exactly what it is that I want, how I want, and who I want. But I shouldn't be expected to change. I shouldn't be expected to pivot. I shouldn't be expected to make any changes or compromises or whatever the case may be, but this person should, because it's all about me. I should be able to show up exactly how I am with no expectation to change, even if that's something that I'm requiring of the other person. And I think and have witnessed that even people already in relationships or even in long-standing relationships think this way, where they expect their partners to learn them, to bend to their needs, to understand who they are and how they are, but they're not willing to do the same thing for their partner in exchange. And a lot of people are, and those are your more successful relationships, because that is how those things work, right? But then you have a lot of people that are not, and they keep running into this rut of, why are me and my person bumping heads? But it's like, y'all are so busy going tit for tat and being self-serving in your relationship versus how do we make this a space for the both of us, right? How do I show up for you, and how do I help you to understand how to show up for me, versus this is what I need you to do, this is what I'm telling you to do, you're not listening to me, you're not learning me, accept me, be here, I don't have to change, but you do. I just feel like too many people are expecting so much without being willing to give the same. So E. Rich Fromm defines love as the will to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing one's own or another's spiritual growth. Bell Hooks further adds on to this definition by adding, is a combination of care, commitment, knowledge, responsibility, respect, and trust. I feel like so many people understand the commitment aspect, but might be missing that it is also choosing to care, building knowledge of themselves and of their partner, respecting themselves and their partners, and what it means to truly care and nurture spiritual growth or growth of another person in general. One thing I noticed back to a time many moons ago, a time that we don't really talk about when I thought that I was in love, is that I saw love as this could be great. This could be perfect. This could work out between me and this person because so many things do match up. But I wasn't thinking about how I nurture the growth of this other person, right? Or not over the fact that I was so focused on wanting this person to be more obsessed with me, right? I wanted their time and their focus to all be on me versus like, how am I helping this person grow? Like, and I thought about those things too, right? I knew that I had that space to offer, you know, nurture and provide, but that was not a top priority of mine. It was just like, no, this is mine. You're my man, and this is where your focus needs to be, over here. If whatever it is that you're trying to do over there, don't do it without me. Like, I know it was very, very unhealthy, right? I was young and dumb. And now I'm not. But I was much more interested in keeping this person bound to me. I'm like, we gonna grow together, or we not gonna grow at all. You know, I needed to feel important in their life. I needed to feel prioritized in order to validate the fact that I was desired and that I was cared for, right? I wasn't necessarily interested in them making new friends or having new opportunities. Not that I didn't want them to succeed in life, right? But outside of me and outside of our relationship, like I didn't want to hear about new people that you met, because new people meant that you were in other people's faces and not mine. I know this is crazy. And I'm kind of like, dang, I was really going through it. But you know, that's a time that we don't like to talk about all the time. But I felt that they needed to be on my time, right? They needed to be there for me. They needed to be obsessed with me, and that's crazy, right? But then again, not too crazy considering all this content that you're seeing out here, specifically on TikTok, about how to make this person obsessed with you, how to have this person bounded to you, how to have them thinking about you all the time, how to manifest them being obsessed with you. Like, just a bunch of craziness content that is out here that is not conducive to your well-being or to that other person's well-being that you're wishing these things upon. That video is about love spells and the use of crystals to draw people closer to you and all that stuff, and it's a lot. You can go down a rabbit hole on that stuff, and I would say I wouldn't recommend that at all, especially if you are still in the Lululand. Nothing to be ashamed of. We've all been there before, but get yourself out of that first, and don't even toy with the thought of that type of content, because it is not gonna go over well, and it will not help you in the long run. But I feel like a lot of people are in this I and me type of headspace, even when it comes to being in relationships, right? And I do agree to some extent that, yeah, your relationship should be, in a sense, self-serving, but in a sense, self-serving as that it is also serving you and nurturing you as well. But there's also another person involved. So you also have to think about, how is this serving and nurturing to that other partner, and how am I helping with that? How am I conducive to my partner's growth, just as I would want my partner to be conducive to mine? And there's this belief that all I have to do is just show up and my partner should just accept me with open arms as I am, never expecting change or growth or anything. And to, you know, in some cases that might work, right? But for how long if you aren't truly healing? For how long if you aren't truly progressing? For how long if you aren't truly growing and allowing room for that person to grow too? For how long is that really gonna work? And I sometimes wonder, like, could this be why you hear a lot of stories where people are talking about these really great experiences or even relationships that they had in the past with people, how they had so much fun together, they looked so good together, they really enjoyed their time together, but for some reason they just didn't connect. And sometimes I feel like, well, could it have been that, you know, maybe y'all just weren't right for each other? Yeah, but then could it have also been, if all of these other things were perfect, were y'all in the relationship, one, for the right reason, and two, for the same reasons? Were y'all valuing the same thing, each other's time and space and growth and nurturing one another? Because sometimes you do have these really special bonds with people, you do want things to work, but if either they're not willing to be, you know, and no one's the perfect partner, but being a nurturing partner on their end, or you're not willing to be on y'all's end, y'all are going to bump heads sooner or later, because there's not going to be any room room for progression or any room for nurturing within your relationship, what should be one place where you feel you can go and recharge and to get that. And if you can't get that, as a human being, as a person, you're just, it's not going to be a place that you want to be in for the long run. As human beings, we were meant to evolve, right? We're evolving every day. We've evolved so much over time. That's why our brains, even as we get older, is still able to pick up new things. Our personalities change, our beliefs change, our mannerisms change, our bodies physically change. We age, we grow, we learn, we progress, we get better, we evolve. And within the realms of even a romantic partnership, when that's not happening, when that is not allowed to happen, when you're not allowed to grow, to progress, to change, to evolve, or being encouraged or nurtured into that, that's where your relationship gets a little choppy. That's where it gets boring, or that's where it feels like you're being stunted or stagnant. You feel that way in life when you're not progressing. So of course you're gonna feel that way if you feel stunted within a relationship with someone else. And of course, you want to be able to relax within your relationship. You want to be able to just have fun. Not every conversation needs to be super deep. Not everything needs to be about bonding about your traumas. Not everything needs to be about healing, right? But you do want that overall connection to be feeding and serving and nurturing to both parties. Are you and your partner showing up the same way? Are y'all showing up with the same amount of energy, with the same amount of care, with the same amount of nurturing one another based on each of y'all's specific needs or needs that you both desire and require within a stable relationship? Are both of y'all nurturing each other's growth in the same way with the same percentage of energy and input? Or are one of y'all just being an emotional lapdog for the other person? Are you just here because they do everything the way that you want them to and they never call you out on your BS or call you out on your shortcomings? Or vice versa. And sure, right now it might be cool, it may be straight, it may be like, yeah, this is life, I ain't gotta do nothing. But again, how many times have we seen that happen in relationships where someone is just like, yeah, I just let him come and go as he pleases. I just let her do her thing or whatever. And that partner ends up getting weighed down because it's like, I've been here for this person for so long. I've allowed them to just be them. I've accepted them for every single thing that came with them. And now I'm tired. Now I don't want to be here. Now I'm not feeling fulfilled. Now I want something better, or I'm seeing something better, or I'm understanding that I can have better. And sure, you can say that, yeah, well, even if I do have all of this and we are in that type of relationship where we are nurturing to each other, where we are building and helping each other grow, that's not a fail-safe to not get cheated on or to not have bad things happen. I do understand that, but I will say it is a better way in order for you to have a better experience with that person, with that relationship, to learn more about yourself and what it is that you need. Even if it doesn't work out, you know where you're going moving forward, what you need, what you desire, what you have to give to someone, or even those spaces that you yourself need to grow in so that you can be in a successful relationship, so that you can be someone who can nurture someone else or who can tell somebody else when there's something that you need that you're not getting, when you're better able to handle conflict, when you're better able to create a space that you desire to be in, but also that your partner can be in because you're that person's person. So with that comes my question. What are you doing to make sure that you are la persona de tu persona? That you are your person's person. That you are the person that your person wants to find. I told y'all I was going to say person a whole lot in this video. And when I say all of that, I don't mean by any means being perfect, right? There is no perfect person. There is no perfect partner. There is no perfect relationship. But I mean it in a sense of, how are you being a match? How are you being a match for what it is that you desire to bring into your life, that you desire to attract into your life? How are you preparing yourself to be someone that can show up for someone else? A lot of people are really thinking about the emotional labor that it's going to take for somebody else to deal with them, but they're not realizing that it's also going to take emotional labor on your behalf. And when I say emotional labor, I don't mean that it should just be like pulling teeth every single day of being in a relationship with somebody, right? You don't want to put yourself through the pain and the strain of that, but it's not always going to be rainbow and butterflies, because I always like to tell people that here we go with the person word. You are a person learning to be a person in a relationship with someone else who is also learning the same things, right? Y'all are evolving, y'all are growing, you are having these experiences, you are learning things about yourself each and every day, and y'all have to make sure that your relationship is conducive to that, and it's a place where y'all feel comfortable sharing that experience with one another. And a lot of people just really aren't ready for that, and they're not thinking about that. They're not thinking about the fact that, yeah, he might look great on paper. He might be, your perfect match or whatever on paper, but still understand that this is just a human being who is having an experience just as you are, growing and learning just as you are, getting it wrong, getting it right, learning how to do it better just as you are. And so there's grace that needs to come with that within a relationship as well. And some people don't have that. And then some people have too much of it, or it's not even grace, it's just allowing themselves to be run over. So part of being your person's person is also building yourself up, not so you can necessarily be strong and toil through, but so that you can understand who you are, so that you can attract that match to you, so that you aren't having these people coming in on BS thinking that you're just going to be their lapdog, so that you know who you are and what it is that you want. And when you see it, you're like, I know who I am. I know that over here, I can make you real happy. I don't know why I did that, but I can make you real happy. But can you bring that to me too? Not necessarily finding your happiness in another person, right? Because we don't do that. That's not what we do. No lo hacemos. That's not what we do. But we know that if I am whole within myself, or if I'm at least working towards it and actively working towards it, and so are you, then we're bringing our worlds together, and we're making this a space for both of us to continue to encourage each other's wholeness, and to also have a place where we don't always have to show up like that, but we know that there's growth here, there's nurture here, there's love here, there's care here, there's commitment here, there's understanding, there's patience, there's all these things that you must make the choice to do, because love is a choice each and every day, each and every moment. And I just feel like so many people don't be thinking like that, and I'm just like, why? ¿Por qué no? I just think that a lot of people really need to take the time and sit back and think like, okay, this is what I imagine, or this is what I desire, right? This is the type of man or the type of woman or whatever it is that I desire. Will that person that I'm imagining, that match for me, that I'm thinking that that's my match for me, would they be attracted to me? And I don't just mean on the outside, because for real, no, but I don't just mean on the outside. I mean how I am. What are my mannerisms? What are the things that I talk about? What are the things, down to the things that I joke about? What are the things that I'm interested in? What are my habits? What are my healthy habits? What are my unhealthy habits? What are the things that I'm working on? What are the things that I need to work on? How do I handle conflict? How do I give and receive love? How do I give and receive compliments or gifts or whatever the case may be? Am I the person that this picture of a perfect match that I'm imagining in my head, am I someone who they would be attracted to? If you can say yes, then you're probably ready. Go out there to the world. But I just feel like if a lot of people really sat and just thought like that, they would better themselves. They would get themselves together, versus just thinking, oh, I can just be who I am and I don't have to change nothing, and you're supposed to come in and love me just as I am, but you're supposed to come whole, healed, and perfect, and I don't have to. And I'm speaking that as men and women. People show up in relationships like that all the time, thinking that they're just gonna lay some BS out there to somebody else just because that person has everything that you want, but you feel like you could just give them whatever. And a lot of people are starting to find out that that's not the case. You can't be with me if you're not working on yourself, right? You can't be with me if you're not getting yourself together, because I'm busy out here doing the work that I need to be doing, and I need to know that you're doing that, so that we can come together and create this space where we can continue encouraging that from each other. And a lot of people don't think like that. How many of us can really think to even our parents' relationships, even if they stayed together for who knows how long, or even if they didn't last that long, can we really say that they created a nurturing space for each other? Can we really say that we saw them pour into each other for, you know, to encourage growth and to nurture each other and to really give care and commitment and time and understanding? Or was it just a bunch of, I'm trying to do this and you not listening and you're not getting with the program, or whatever the case may be? And for those of you who have experiences where you can say, yes, I saw my parents pour into each other, yes, I saw them love and nurture each other, yes, I continue to see that, I love that for you. I love that for you, and I pray that for you in your life and whatever it is that you choose to do as far as relationships go. But I know that there's a lot of us who didn't grow up seeing that, which is why we have these issues when we get into relationships where we go in head first, self-serving, I, me, you be there and you show up how I want you to. And I know, because I was like that. I was like, you need to be on my time. Even as an adult, even after learning all of these things, I still have to catch myself today being like, you can't always expect that these dudes are just gonna show up on your time, Bobby. Like you can't do that. You can't do that. Just because somebody tell you that they got an off day don't mean that they're giving it up to you. You know, it doesn't mean that they're on your time, right? There is, I hate to say, compromise to be made, but even within little things, as far as like choosing to make time, choosing this person, choosing to be a good partner, like there are compromises there. There are, whether you like it or not. And I didn't want to accept that either, because I was like, why do you have to compromise in love? Why do you have to compromise in something that should be so easy? But it's not always going to be easy, because again, you're a person learning to be a person with a person who's also learning to be a person, and y'all are having your own personal experiences. And like I did that, I'm using this word a lot, I know. Bear with me and I'm going to bless you. But yeah, so it's like just really honing in and thinking like, am I doing the work to prepare myself to have what it is that I desire, to be a match, to be that desire of what it is that I desire, right? Am I doing the work that it takes to get unstuck out of where I am, right? Am I doing the work to heal myself emotionally and physically in those preconceived notions that I have about love, about relationships, about what things are supposed to look like based on what I did see or what I didn't see? Am I doing the work to begin to break down these unhealthy or unrealistic ideas that I have in regards to, you know, romantic relationships with another person, or how I'm supposed to show up, or how they're supposed to show up, and I do or don't have to do certain things? And if not, what better time to start than right now if you haven't? It was a great way to prepare yourself, and not just for the sake of becoming a good boyfriend or a good girlfriend or a good husband or a good wife or whatever the case may be, but just as a person in general who is able to walk this earth, living your life the way that you want, living your life fulfilled, doing the things that you loved, hanging around the people that you enjoy being around, being so sure of yourself that when your desires do approach you, you don't even doubt yourself, because you know that you've cultivated this space where somebody else could come in and they could also bring into the relationship the things that you desire, and y'all can cultivate a space together where both of y'all can nurture each other, can love each other, can care for each other, can respect each other, can learn each other. And all of that starts with, it may sound cliche, but with working on yourself, with doing the things that you love, with getting so wrapped up in you and learning about how it is that you maneuver. And I don't just mean like necessarily romanticizing your life, do that, yes, but also really explore yourself, right? Really dive into the depths of, how do I think? How do I show up? How do I handle things? Am I doing the things that I love? Am I showing up in this life fulfilled, truly fulfilled? How am I spreading my time? How am I sharing my talents, my passions? How ambitious am I? Am I going after things that it is that I really, really want? Because even if you don't desire to be partnered, you showing up in this world as a person who is sure of yourself, more for you than for anybody else, that's the most important piece. That's the most important part. That's the key to being able to have whatever it is that you want. That's how you attract people, attract friends, attract opportunities, attract jobs, attract money, attract abundance. you become so magnetic and value yourself so much above all. And again, value is not about arrogance. It's not about conceit. It's about knowing who I am, what I bring to the space, and knowing that there are things that I will not tolerate and I will not negotiate, right? And just becoming so magnetic in that, so knowing of your worth and your value that other people have no choice but to see it, and they have no choice but to act accordingly, because you've done all this work to know who you are and to show up as that version of yourself. And also think about it on this way for those who do desire to be in relationships. Like, don't you want to be with someone who shows up in the world sure of themselves? Don't you desire to be partnered with someone who knows their value, who's put in the work, who shows up for themselves, who shows up for others, who does the things that they love, who goes after the things that they love? So don't you think that if you are attracted to that your person would also be attracted to that? Wouldn't you want to show up as that for them to say, yes, that's exactly what I've been looking for. That's exactly what I wanted. That's how you want to feel when you look at that person. So imagine that that's exactly how they want to feel when they look at you. And again, I say, like, of course, you're not doing it just for another person or just to attract another person, but your life becomes so much more fulfilling when you can stand in surety of who you are and what your value is. And when you can do that, everybody else does it. Everyone else is mirroring you. Everyone else sees what it is that you see. So when you see yourself show up sure and ambitious and loving and worthy of love and healed and a nurturing person and a person who's ready to, commit, or a person who's ready to receive, a person who is wealthy, who is healthy, who is abundant, who is happy about life, you attract all of these things and all of these people to you that are on that same vibration, whether it's romantic partners or whether it's just friends. Don't you want to show up in life like that? Don't you want to vivir la vida como ese? Like, that is something that we all want, that inner peace. That is where that inner peace comes from. It comes from knowing yourself and being able to show up authentically and sure of yourself and who you are. But yeah, I just want to say a mis hombres, a mis mujeres, a mis primos out there, I guess this became a video more about just working on yourself. But again, for my people who are out there who are wanting a person, who are desiring that, because I know a lot of people are, really think about how it is that you're showing up, right? Don't just think about what it is that you desire in another person or how you desire someone else to be. Relationships based off of that don't necessarily last long. Like, if you are not providing something else to your partner, and I don't want to say that, you should think of it as transactional, but if you really want to get technical, every relationship is transactional, even down to your friendships. Think about you and your best friends. Y'all have something to offer each other, and it might not be money or anything like that, but it's like, I feel fulfilled after I spend time with my best friends, right? They feel fulfilled after they spend time with me. It's just, we cultivate this space where we both pour into it, or we cultivate this space where we pour into it and we pour into each other, whether we're having serious conversations and giving each other advice, or whether we're just going to go grab some food and take a hike or whatever, just to blow off steam from a long week. There is something that I'm bringing to that relationship, and there's something that they're bringing to it, and we're both able to nurture each other off of it, because that is the way, even within your friendships, that is the way love works. That is the way that it's meant to work. And you should show up that same way that you do for your friends in your relationships. Too many times we find ourselves wanting our partner to show up as this perfect person, and we can just be as broken as we want to be, right? And not every day are we going to be able to show up, standing on our own 2 feet. We should be able to go to our partners when we're broken down. But I just mean that overall expectation of, this is what I built out and this is what I'm expecting from this other person, but not thinking about, well, what do they expect? And having those conversations. Too many people are getting into relationships without having important conversations. What is it that you desire? What is it that you need? During the dating process, you should be vetting people, but you should also be putting out there what it is that you have to offer as well. And I'm not saying just like, this is what I got to offer, this about me, that about me, that about me. But when you find yourself getting serious with someone, don't wait until after y'all have made it official to start having real conversations about how you truly desire to be loved in a relationship, or how it is that, you know, you show up when you are in certain types of situations. Like, don't wait. Have those conversaciones beforehand. Like, have them when things start really getting serious, right? But that's all I have for now. We will indeed explore more on this topic of becoming that person, becoming that future of who you want to be. Not so much so that you can be found, but more so that you can have that fulfilling life that you desire to have. But in the meantime, please share your comments in the comments section. Also, please remember to subscribe, like, share with your friends, and I will see you next time. Bye.